My beloved child, listen deeply to what I am whispering into the innermost place within you. The journey I am leading you on does not end only with what your eyes can see today, nor does it stop at the achievements you can name in one season of life. There are things I am sowing through you that will continue to grow after you have passed beyond this present stretch of the road. There are words you speak in sincerity that will continue to echo in the hearts of others on days you know nothing about. There are prayers you thought had dissolved into silence, but in truth, they have become hidden seeds, lying deep in the soil, waiting for the right time to sprout. Do not underestimate a small act done in love. Do not look down on a gentle word of counsel spoken in humility. Do not think the tears you pour out before me are useless. Everything born from my holy guidance carries within it an enduring life, one that surpasses the limits of time and continues to touch people you have never met. I want you to understand that your life is not a scattered story that begins and ends only within yourself. You are a current in my greater river. When you obey, that river opens another branch. When you love, the dry ground around you is watered. When you forgive, a new path is cleared for those who are trapped in pain. When you persevere, those behind you look at your life and learn how not to give up. You may not know who is being strengthened by the light I have placed within you, but I know you may not remember every time you have sown what is good, but I do not forget. You may think you are simply living through ordinary days, but beneath my hand, each of those days is being woven into a sacred testimony. Remember the story of Ruth, the woman who chose the path of faithfulness when there was no guarantee before her. She did not see the whole future when she decided to remain with Naomi. She did not know that her poor and humble footsteps through the fields of Bethlehem would be brought by me into a plan far greater than anything she could imagine. She only knew how to love, how to remain loyal, how to do what was right that day. Yet from that quiet humility, I opened a stream of blessing that continued through many generations. Do you see? What seems small in the eyes of the world can become a great doorway in my hands. One faithful choice today can become the foundation for what I will do tomorrow. Therefore, do not wait until everything looks radiant before believing that your life has meaning. Even in hiddenness, I am still writing something eternal. My child, the story I write through you does not bear only your name, because your purpose is always placed within my name. I did not create you merely to exist, nor did I lead you through so many seasons of testing only for you to seek a passing reward. I called you to become a sign of mercy, a lamp placed where light is needed, a vessel of grace so that others may see me through the way you live, the way you endure, the way you love, the way you rise again after the moments when you thought you had fallen completely. What you leave behind is not only possessions, reputation, or praise. What is more precious is the fragrance of kindness, the lives that have been touched, the faith that has been awakened, the hope that has been stirred again, and the people who found the courage to keep walking because they once saw you refuse to let go of my hand. Therefore, as you draw nearer to the important roads I have appointed for you, do not bow your head in fear like one who has no refuge. Lift your face in the peace of one who knows they are being led. You have never walked alone. Even in the seasons when you thought no one understood, I was there, quietly carrying you through each contrary wind. When you cried without words, I understood. When you were tired yet still tried to keep walking, I counted every step. When you offered what was good and no one recognized it, I recorded it in my love. When you stood between difficult choices and still chose what was upright, heaven rejoiced because you did not trade holiness for what was easy. There is a great company who went before you by faith, by endurance, and by loyalty in circumstances that were never easy. They do not stand there to make you feel small, but to remind you that you too can complete the portion of the road entrusted to you. They are like gentle echoes at the edge of your journey, encouraging you that my grace is sufficient for every step. Above you, my light still shines upon the way, not always far enough for you to see the end of the horizon, but always enough for you to recognize the next step. And within you, the flame I have kindled will not be extinguished simply because the wind is strong. At times it glows quietly, at times it blazes brightly, but it still belongs to me. And I know how to breathe new breath upon it so it shines at the right time. Beloved, you are anointed not for pride, but for service. You are sent not to seek glory for yourself, but to carry my love into places that are lacking tenderness. You are preserved not because you have never been weak, but because I have placed my hand upon you. You are loved not because you always do everything right, but because you are my child. Let this truth settle your heart. Do not walk as one who must prove yourself to the whole world. Walk as one whose Father has called your name, embraced you, corrected you, sustained you, and sent you forth. From today onward, live each day as one who carries the breath of heaven in your heart. Do ordinary things with an extraordinary heart. Speak simple words with pure love. Step into the places where I set you with humility, because you never know which small act today will become a great blessing tomorrow. When you smile at someone in distress, when you pray for the one who hurt you, when you choose honesty in what no one sees, when you encourage someone who wants to give up, you are sowing into the soil seeds that bear my mark. And when a certain season comes to a close, do not fear completion. What ends in my hands is not loss, but a door opening into a deeper fullness. The day will come when you look back and see that I went before you at every turning, walked beside you in every battle, and came behind you to cause what you sowed to continue bearing fruit. Your greatest reward is not only the things placed into your hands, but the holy joy of knowing that you lived according to what I created you to live. Be at peace, my child. Keep walking. Let your life become a gentle song lifted up to me. And when the appointed time comes in its fullness, you will hear my voice calling you in love, welcoming you into the joy prepared beforehand, where every tear is wiped away and every act of faithfulness is embraced in eternal light. Do not think that what is coming is a reward because you have been perfect, for I know each of your weaknesses clearly and still love you with an unchanging love. Nor should you think you must prove yourself worthy before I act, because my faithfulness is not built upon your perfection, but upon my own eternal nature. I do not bless you because you have never stumbled. I bless you because I am your Father, because I remember the word I have spoken, because I do not forget the covenant of love I have placed upon your life. What you cannot open by your own strength, I will open by my power. What you once stood before and sighed over because it seemed locked forever, I can touch and cause it to turn in a single moment. No door is too heavy for me, no circumstance too hard, no heart too distant for me to move. There will be help coming from directions you never predicted. There are people you have never met who will become instruments through which I answer the things you prayed for in solitude. There are encounters that may seem accidental, but in truth have already been arranged by me. Words, opportunities, connections, and helping hands will appear at the right time. Not so early that you take them lightly, and not so late that you are shattered. You will understand that I do not work only through familiar things, but also through unexpected narrow paths, through new faces, through circumstances you once paid no attention to. I know how to bring near the people who need to come close to you, and I also know how to separate from you the things that no longer belong to the new season. You were not created to fight alone forever in a weary land. I am gathering around you people who carry the same sacred heartbeat, the same pure longing, the same gaze fixed on what is higher than the small gains of this life. They will not come to replace me in your heart, but to walk with you in what I am entrusting to you. They will encourage you when your steps grow hesitant, remind you of my word when your emotions waver, pray with you when the road is still covered in mist, and stand firm with you when opposing winds arise. You have had seasons in which you had to learn how to stand alone so you would know that I am your true refuge. But there will also be a season when I send companions, so you may learn that unity too is a gift from heaven. Remember Joshua when he stood before Jericho, a high and closed fortress where human eyes saw only stone walls and limits. If he had acted in impatience, perhaps he would have urged the people to charge forward in their own strength. If he had listened to fear, perhaps he would have retreated because the city seemed too strong. But he received my instruction and walked in unusual obedience. They did not win by the noise of pride, nor by the haste of human desire, but by following what I had spoken, even when it appeared strange before the world. Then, at the appointed moment, the wall collapsed, not because they were strong enough to break it, but because I had set the hour of victory. My beloved, there are Jerichos in your life as well. Do not scream in despair before the wall. Do not throw yourself against hard stone. Follow the rhythm of my leading, because when the hour has come, what once stood towering before you will no longer have the authority to block your steps. Therefore, in the days when you see everything beginning to move more quickly, you must keep your heart even purer, more alert, and more tender before my voice. The speed of blessing must not cause you to lose the stillness within. Open doors do not mean you must walk through all of them. Opportunities appearing do not mean everything has been sent by me. You need discernment, prayer, and the willingness to let me govern both your joy and your excitement. Do not chase what makes your emotions flare for a moment. Follow what carries the lasting mark of my deep peace. Do not act merely because you need to be filled. Act because you know you have been sent. Do not choose a path simply because it looks bright before your eyes. Choose the path I confirm in the secret place of your heart. I want you to live as one who knows that every step has meaning. You are not merely passing through days and months. You are carrying traces of heaven into the places where I set you. A word you speak can lift someone who is collapsing. One upright decision of yours can open a way for many who come after you. One quiet act of obedience can become a key to something greater than you imagined. Therefore, do not despise ordinary days. Do not think that only radiant moments have value. I often sow great seeds in small acts, and I often prepare those I send in seasons when no one applauds. Beloved, the mark I have placed upon you is not something fragile that the enemy can snatch from my hand. What I have engraved in your depths is not erased by accusation, by misunderstanding, by old failure, or by the seasons when you thought you had lost your way. The light I have kindled in you does not depend on whether the sky above you is clear. Dark clouds may come, voices may try to make you doubt, battles may leave you weary, but the purpose I placed within you remains, protected by my hand. You are not one abandoned in the middle of the battlefield. You are one I have called by name, preserved, corrected, and prepared. There have been years when I sharpened you in secret, like a patient craftsman shaping an arrow until it is rightly formed, balanced, sharp, and ready. Every tear did not make you useless, but washed away what hindered you. Every prayer did not make you weaker, but drew you nearer to my strength. Every time you thought you had fallen, I taught you to rise again, not in pride, but in dependence. Every delay was not meant to bury you, but to align you with the target I had appointed. Now, as I draw back the bowstring, Do not fear the tension of this final season of preparation. The feeling of being pulled back is not always failure. Sometimes it is the sign that I am placing you in position to send you farther, more accurately, and more deeply into the place your mission must touch. Oh, my child, stand firm in holiness. Walk in faith. Keep the flame of prayer burning. And do not let your heart be pulled away by the haste of this life. I am acting. I am connecting. I am opening doors. I am bringing you to people, places, and moments that have been prepared beforehand. When this happens, remember that the glory does not belong to you. Yet the blessing is not separate from you either. I want you to become a clean vessel through which my goodness can flow. Let every step forward be soaked in humility. Let every victory become thanksgiving. Let every open door draw you nearer to me, not farther away from me, for I am not only bringing you into a new season, I am bringing you into the right position, the right purpose, the right moment, where the light I have placed within you will pierce the darkness and testify that my hand has never left your life. My beloved child, what I am setting before you is not a dry path built from heavy commands, nor a yoke that slows your steps in fear. I am calling you into a life that knows how to listen, how to trust, how to love, and how to place your heart under my guidance, like a child placing a small hand in the hand of their father on a long road. The obedience I desire from you is not the bowing of a head under compulsion, but the response of a heart that has recognized love. When you understand that every word I speak comes from kindness and wisdom, you will no longer see obedience as a boundary of confinement, but as the fence protecting the garden of peace I have planted within you. There are times when you think freedom means being able to do whatever you want, to follow every outward call, to decide every turning for yourself without stopping to ask me. But my child, true freedom is not wandering among countless choices that leave your heart confused. True freedom is knowing whom you belong to, knowing which voice is the call of life, and knowing which path leads you into lasting peace. When you remain in my teaching, you do not lose yourself. You recover the purest part of who you are. When you walk after me, you are not made smaller, you are enlarged. When you say yes to me, you do not lose joy. You are led into a joy deeper than every fleeting pleasure of the world. I know the world often whispers into your ear that obedience is loss, trust is naivete, and love is weakness. But look carefully. How many people have those whispers led into exhaustion, confusion, rivalry, and emptiness? The world promises you peace through control. But the more you try to hold everything, the heavier your heart becomes. The world promises you worth through recognition. But the more you run after the gaze of others, the farther you drift from the peace I have prepared for you. As for me, I do not use noise to draw you back. I call you with gentleness. I remind you with light. I wait for you with inexhaustible patience, so that you may understand that only when you are near me will you no longer be ruled by invisible fears. Therefore, do not see my word as a foreign law placed upon your shoulders, but receive it as the word of a father speaking to you in the night, so you do not lose your way. When I tell you to forgive, it is not because I take your wound lightly, but because I do not want bitterness to become a chain in your heart. When I teach you to love, it is not so you become easily used by others, but so you carry the character of heaven in a world full of coldness. When I tell you to wait, it is not because I have forgotten your dream, but because I am preparing you for what impatience cannot hold. When I tell you to release something, it is not because I want to take away your joy, but because I see that what you are holding may wound your hands and hide the better gift. Remember Abraham, who heard the call to leave the familiar place and go to a land he had never seen. He did not have a complete map in his hands, did not have every explanation before his eyes, and was not told what every bend in the road would bring. But he walked because he believed that the one who called him was trustworthy. Do you see? Faith does not always begin with absolute clarity. Often faith begins with one trembling but sincere step. And as Abraham went, I did not abandon him along the way. I led him through seasons of waiting, tests, and moments when the promise seemed far away, so that through the journey itself he learned that my word never falls to the ground in vain. In the same way, you may not yet see the fullness of what I am doing, but if you walk with me day by day, you will see that my promise is not only an echo in memory, but a living mark upon your life. Beloved, I do not call you into a life of mere outward form, where the mouth says it believes, while the heart remains far away. I desire true communion with you, a nearness nourished through every prayer, every moment you pause to listen, every time you choose what is right, even when no one sees. I want you to know that I am present not only in solemn, sacred moments, but also in your quiet room, in a simple meal, in your steps as you go to work, in the sigh you release when you are tired, in the small decision you think no one cares about. Every moment can become a meeting place between you and me. If you open your heart and let me enter, when you trust me, the burden of the future will no longer have the right to rule over you as it once did. You can still make plans, still labor, still be responsible for what has been entrusted to you. But you will no longer live as though every outcome must be carried by you alone. That is the difference. My child, one who does not trust me often wakes with a heavy heart because of things that have not yet happened. But one who knows how to place tomorrow in my hands can walk through today with a deep and quiet calm. Not because everything is easy, but because you know the one who walks with you is greater than everything you cannot control. Then you will realize that my promises are not distant ideas meant only to warm the heart when heard. They will enter your life like light slipping through the crack of a door, like rain soaking into dry ground, like a hand lifting you when you thought you could not continue. My peace will come to you in circumstances where others think you should collapse. The joy I give will not depend on applause or outward ease. My presence will become so near that even in the most ordinary days, you will still sense that you are being kept, guided, and loved with a love that does not change. But to live in this, you must learn to return to me every day. Do not seek me only when everything falls apart. Do not call on me only when your heart panics. Let closeness with me become the rhythm of your life. Bring me both your joy and your fear, both your success and your weakness, both the questions that have no answer yet and the dreams still being nurtured. I do not grow weary of hearing you. I do not distance myself when you are clumsy. I do not despise simple prayers. What I seek in you is a sincere heart, a heart willing to let me shape, heal, illuminate, and lead it. So walk in obedience with a light heart, not as one being dragged along a road they do not want, but as one who has found the way home. Trust me when the path is still unclear. Love when the hearts around you are dry. Hold fast to my word when the world changes from day to day. Choose truth when lies seem convenient. Choose peace when anxiety wants to take a seat in your heart. I am with you in every step, not merely to observe, but to sustain, teach, and bring you into a more radiant maturity. When you live in me, you will not be swept away by the threatening voices of this life. You will stand firm, not because you are stronger than all things, but because you are anchored in my love. And from that place, you will see that a life of obedience is not loss, but a door opening into freedom, peace, and joy that no power can steal from you. My beloved child, quiet your heart and listen, for what I want to place within you today is not merely a passing comfort, but a gentle stream flowing into the place where you have grown weary from waiting, calculating, and silently wondering whether tomorrow will be enough. I know the things you have asked for. I know the nights when you looked at the circumstances before you and felt your heart sway like a small boat upon dark waters. I know the shortages that have troubled you, the responsibilities that have weighed down your shoulders, and the hidden anxieties you cannot easily speak of to anyone. But my child, before you called, I heard. Before you searched, I saw. Before you knew what you needed, I had already prepared the way for you. My provision is never limited to what your hands can hold or to the numbers you can count. There are gifts I give like food in a time of hunger, like a door opening when you thought every way had closed. But there are also quieter, deeper provisions, a breath of peace in the middle of confusion, a clear thought when you are bewildered, fresh endurance when you thought you could no longer stand, a quiet joy blooming in a place that seemed barren. Do not underestimate these things, beloved, because not every blessing comes in a radiant form. Sometimes I protect you with stillness. Sometimes I nourish you with courage. Sometimes I answer your prayer by making you stronger before the circumstances change. When you ask me to provide, do not look only at the vessel that is running low, the wallet that feels thin, or the road ahead still covered in mist. Look up to me, the one who knows every wilderness you will pass through, and also knows every spring I have hidden beneath the dry rock. Sometimes you think you are lacking, but in truth, I am teaching you to distinguish between what you fear losing and what you truly need. Sometimes you think I am late, but in truth, I am putting everything into its proper place, so that when the blessing comes, you will not only receive what you asked for, but also understand my heart within it. I am not a giver who gives carelessly. I am your Father, and everything I give carries wisdom, care, and good purpose. Do you remember the story of Elijah by the brook Cherith in the middle of a drought, when the land was cracked and the hearts of people were afraid because of lack? I did not lead him to a palace filled with storehouses, nor did I place him among crowds to be praised by the world. I brought him to a hidden place where there was only a small stream and quiet obedience. There, I sent ravens to bring him food each day. That was not the way human beings usually imagine provision. But precisely through that strange thing, I revealed that my supply is not limited by familiar means. When the brook dried up, I opened another way, bringing him to the house of a poor widow, a place that seemed to have nothing left to give. Yet there I caused the flour not to be spent and the oil not to run dry. Do you see? I can use a small brook, a bird's wing, a poor person, a jar that seems almost empty to sustain the one who belongs to me. Therefore, do not decide that blessing is not coming simply because you have not yet seen it enter by the path you expected. In the same way, I am caring for you in ways you have not yet recognized. There are people I have placed near you to encourage you at the right moment. There are delays I allow in order to keep you from what is not yet good. There are doors I have not opened because behind them is not the peace meant for you. There are things I take from your hands not to make you poor, but so your hands may be empty enough to receive what is purer and more enduring. Do not be quick to call silence abandonment, and do not be quick to call waiting rejection. Each day you wake, I still cover you with mercy like morning light. In each step you take, I still quietly guard you from pits you cannot see. If your heart is heavy because of needs that have not yet been met, bring them to me with the honesty of a child returning into the arms of the Father. You do not need to decorate your prayers beautifully, nor hide the trembling within your heart. I am not unfamiliar with your tears. I do not rebuke you for the times you are weak. I do not turn my face away when you are exhausted. When you say, I do not have strength anymore, I will lift you with my strength. When you say, I do not know what to do, I will kindle a ray of light within you so you can recognize the next step. When you say, I feel alone, I will let you know that my presence is closer than breath, gentler than a refreshing wind, and more enduring than every human promise. But beloved, I also want you to learn how to rest in my care. Resting does not mean giving up. It means doing your part in faith, then placing the rest into my hands. Walk with an upright heart. Use what you have with wisdom. Sow what is good, even when your hands have not yet seen the harvest. And guard your heart from bitterness, though the road is still long. Do not let worry become the master of the house of your heart. It may knock at the door, but you do not need to invite it to sit down. Let faith stand watch at that door. Remind your heart that your Father knows what you need, knows what timing is best, knows what way is most good, and knows how to bring you through without allowing you to be shattered. I am providing for you more than you realize. I provide today for you so that tomorrow will not swallow you. I provide peace so that what has not yet happened will not drain you. I provide patience so that you will not lose the blessing through haste. I provide gentleness so that you will not become hardened by what you have endured. I provide hope so you may know that your story does not end in lack, but is being led by me toward a place of light, restoration, and overflowing seasons, where you will look back and say, Father, you never left me. So breathe more gently. Let the burdens fall from your shoulders, little by little in my presence. What you need, I know. What you have not dared to ask, I also understand. What you cannot arrange for yourself, I still have the power to set in place. Open your heart to receive my provision, not only in daily bread, but in calmness to face trials, in love to overcome loneliness, in joy so darkness cannot suffocate you, in wisdom to choose the right path, and in faith to keep walking when your eyes cannot yet see the whole way out. I am your Father. I do not forget you. I do not abandon you halfway. I will feed you with what is necessary, keep you by my grace, and lead you to the very place I prepared for you beforehand.